Today, we're diving into the story of a leader whose choices, all born from fear, created this massive ripple effect of failure that went on for 200 years. It's a really powerful story about leadership, and you'll be surprised how much the lessons apply to all of us today. Let's get into it.
Every one of us leaves a path for others to follow. But what happens when that path leads to total disaster? We're going to break down King Jeroboam's story by looking at the huge problem he faced, the pretty terrible solution he came up with, the complete collapse that happened because of it, and the staggering legacy it left. And then, we'll turn it around and ask ourselves, what kind of path are you making?
Okay, so let's set the scene. Meet King Jeroboam. He's the brand new leader of the newly formed Northern Kingdom of Israel. So he's got a new kingdom, a new crown, and, right out of the gate, a massive political and religious problem on his hands.
You have to understand just how big of a problem this was for Jeroboam. This wasn't some minor headache. It was a genuine crisis of loyalty. Think about it. He, as the king, legally had to tell his entire male population to pack their bags and travel into enemy territory 3 times a year. The very core of their faith and culture was physically located in a rival nation.
To really wrap our heads around this, the source material gives us this fantastic modern analogy. Imagine if, during the American Civil War, every single person in the Union was legally required to travel to Richmond, Virginia, the Confederate capital, for their most important holidays. Yeah? You can just feel the tension, can't you? It's a completely unsustainable situation for any leader.
So, what Jeroboam does next, this is the pivot point for the entire story. Now, God had actually promised to make his dynasty secure if he just stayed faithful. But when he's staring down this huge problem, there's absolutely no evidence he even asked God for advice. He was at a major fork in the road.
And this right here, this is the choice we all face, isn't it? Do we trust in a higher wisdom, even when we don't fully get it? Or do we just fall back on our own plans, which, let's be honest, are often pretty flawed? Well, Jeroboam made his choice.
And there it is. That's his inner monologue right from the source. Notice, it's not about what's best for the people or about faith. It is pure, raw fear. He's afraid of losing his power, he's afraid of losing their loyalty, and at the end of the day, he's afraid they're going to kill him. His big decision wasn't part of some divine plan. It was based on his own personal panic.
Man, that question just hangs in the air, doesn't it? How many times do we listen to our fears, and then we rush off to solve a problem with our own foolish wisdom, making up justifications as we go? For Jeroboam, this fear was the engine that powered a total catastrophe.
And this is where it all starts to unravel. That one decision was the first step on a complete downward spiral. Once Jeroboam started down this path, there was really no going back. It's just this brutal reminder of how one little compromise, born out of fear, can lead to a total spiritual breakdown.
Just look at the dominoes fall. First, he creates this convenient knockoff religion with 2 golden calves as idols. Okay, then, to run it, he just throws out the entire priesthood and starts appointing basically anyone who's willing. And finally, he just makes up a whole new religious calendar, inventing his own festival to compete with the real one in Jerusalem.
The source points out this one tiny but crucial detail. The festival was set for a month of his own choosing. This wasn't some small tweak. He cooked up an entirely new system from scratch. It was a man-made solution to fix his political problem, and he did it by trying to replace God's system with his own invention.
And the original text just hammers this point home. It keeps repeating this phrase, he had made, he had built. The message couldn't be clearer. This wasn't God's work. This was all Jeroboam. His fear led to his flawed logic, which led to a completely self-made religion.
And the consequences, wow, the consequences of these choices, things he just made up on his own, they reach so much further than his own lifetime. The path Jeroboam chose cast this incredibly long, dark shadow for generations.
For 200 years after Jeroboam, not a single king of the Northern Kingdom chose a different path. Every last one of his successors followed in his footsteps. His solution, born out of fear, became the official state religion for 2 centuries.
His legacy became so toxic that his name basically became a curse. The path of Jeroboam became the biblical gold standard for failure, a warning sign for any leader who builds sin into the system and leads people away from God. What an awful, awful way to be remembered.
So, okay, why are we talking about this ancient king today? Because the principle behind it is absolutely timeless.
We might not be kings or queens, but the choices we make create a path that other people will follow. So let's bring this home.
This quote from Dr. Oswalt just perfectly nails it. Our responsibility is bigger than just ourselves. The decisions we make today, especially the ones we make because we're scared, they become the example, the default setting for other people tomorrow.
So what are the big takeaways here? First, fear is a terrible advisor. It makes us focus only on saving our own skin, and it blinds us to better ways. Second, that one small compromise, the one that seems so practical at the time, it can be the crack that brings the whole building down. Third, your choices, they set a pattern. They make a path that's easier for the next person to walk down, for better or for worse. And finally, you absolutely do not need a crown to leave a legacy.
And that brings us to the final, really personal question. You may not be a king, but somebody is watching you. Your kids, your coworkers, your friends. For their sake, what kind of path are you making?